In December 2022, the Japan Ministry of Defense finalized a procurement decision that marked a significant pivot in the nation's post-war military-industrial strategy. After decades of relying almost exclusively on domestic development for ground mobility, the Japan Ground Self-Defense Force selected the Finnish-made Patria AMV XP to replace the aging Type-96 armored personnel carrier. This selection concluded the Next Wheeled Armored Vehicle program, known as the WAPC project, and saw the Finnish platform defeat the domestic contender, the Mobile Armored Vehicle, or MAV, proposed by industrial giant Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. While the decision initially sparked debate regarding the preservation of the domestic defense industrial base, a granular analysis reveals that this choice is not a rejection of Japanese engineering, but a calculated move towards strategic pragmatism, rapid modernization, and the prioritization of soldier survivability in an increasingly volatile East Asian security environment. To understand the gravity of this decision, one must first analyze the technical obsolescence of the predecessor. The Type-96 8x8 armored personnel carrier, which has served as the workhorse of the Ground Self-Defense Force since the mid-1990s, was designed for a different era. With a combat weight of approximately 14.5 tons and a width of 2.5 meters, the Type-96 was engineered to comply with strict Japanese road traffic laws rather than to withstand modern, asymmetrical threats. The vehicle lacks a V-shaped hull, leaving the crew vulnerable to improvised explosive devices and landmines, a weakness that became glaringly apparent during international peacekeeping operations in Iraq and South Sudan. The narrow chassis also limits the capacity for armor upgrades or the integration of heavy weapon systems. The replacement program was therefore not merely about acquiring a new truck, but about fundamentally changing the doctrine of infantry protection. The competition between the Mitsubishi MAV and the Patria AMV XP was a clash between traditional domestic reliance and global performance standards. The Mitsubishi prototype, heavily based on the successful Type-16 maneuver combat vehicle technology, offered the advantage of logistical commonality. Sharing parts between the Type-16 and the new carrier would theoretically reduce maintenance costs. However, the proposal faced significant hurdles regarding development timelines and cost per unit efficiency. In contrast, the Patria AMV XP offered a mature, combat-proven platform that was ready for immediate deployment. The XP in the model name stands for Extra Payload, Protection, and Performance, highlighting the critical difference in design philosophy. The Finnish vehicle boasts a maximum combat weight of 32 tons, more than double that of the Type-96, and provides a payload capacity of 15 tons. This massive surplus in load-carrying ability allows for the installation of heavy modular armor without compromising the vehicle's mobility or amphibious capabilities. A critical factor that likely swayed the selection committee is the geographical and climatic synergy between Finland and the operational areas of the Japan Ground Self-Defense Force, particularly the Northern Army stationed in Hokkaido. Both nations face the strategic necessity of defending territories characterized by harsh winters, deep snow, and boggy terrain against a neighboring potential adversary. The Patria AMV XP is engineered specifically for sub-zero operations, featuring an independent hydropneumatic suspension system that provides superior mobility on soft soil and snow where heavier tracked vehicles might struggle. For Japanese planners, the ability of the Patria to operate effectively in the Hokkaido theater, which mirrors the Finnish frontier, was a decisive operational advantage that theoretical specifications could not replicate. Furthermore, the protection levels of the chosen platform address the most pressing concern of modern recruitment and retention: the value of individual life. In an era of shrinking demographics and recruitment challenges, the self-defense forces cannot afford high casualty rates. The Patria AMV XP offers modular, ballistic protection, scalable from level 2 to level 5, with the capability to withstand mine blasts equivalent to 10 kilograms of TNT under the hull. This represents a generational leap in survivability compared to the Type-96. By selecting a vehicle with established blast protection, Japan signals a shift from equipment-centric procurement to personnel-centric procurement, acknowledging that the most expensive asset on the battlefield is the trained soldier. Critics of the decision often point to the potential erosion of the domestic defense industry, arguing that importing foreign weapons weakens Japan's sovereign manufacturing capabilities. However, a closer examination of the contract details dispels the notion that this is a pure off-the-shelf import. The arrangement is structured around a licensed production model. While the intellectual property and design originate in Finland, the physical manufacturing will take place within Japan. In August 2023, Patria signed a license agreement with Japan Steel Works, a company renowned for its metallurgical expertise, including the production of tank gun barrels and reactor pressure vessels. This industrial partnership is the linchpin that makes the deal politically and economically viable. Japan Steel Works will establish a domestic production line, ensuring that the Japanese supply chain remains active. This approach allows Japan to bypass the immense research and development costs associated with designing a new hull from scratch, estimated to take 5 to 10 years, while still retaining the economic benefits of domestic manufacturing. It is a hybrid model that combines European design maturity with Japanese quality control and material science. The involvement of Japan Steel Works also implies the potential for future modifications where Japanese sensors, communication systems, and remote weapon stations could be integrated, effectively creating a Japan-specific variant of the AMV XP that is superior to the original baseline model. From a budgetary perspective, the decision reflects a newfound fiscal discipline. Developing a unique armored vehicle for a limited production run of a few hundred units drives up the per-unit cost astronomically, a phenomenon often referred to as the Galapagos Syndrome of Japanese defense procurement. By adopting a platform already used by nations such as Sweden, Slovakia, and the United Arab Emirates, Japan benefits from the economies of scale of a global supply chain. The estimated unit cost, which ranges between 500 million and 700 million Japanese yen depending on the configuration, represents a more efficient use of the defense budget compared to the projected costs of a fully indigenous development cycle. This frees up capital for other high-priority domains such as missile defense and unmanned systems. The selection also carries subtle but significant geopolitical weight. It aligns Japan more closely with NATO standards and practices. By operating the same platform as several European partners, Japan enhances its interoperability in potential joint training scenarios or peacekeeping missions. It signifies a broadening of Japan's security horizons beyond the traditional United States alliance, fostering deeper ties with European nations that share similar security concerns regarding authoritarian expansionism. The Japan-Finland defense relationship, cemented by this procurement, creates a technological bridge between the Euro-Atlantic and the Indo-Pacific. In the final analysis, the adoption of the Patria AMV XP is not a concession of defeat for Japanese engineering, but a triumph of realistic strategic planning. It acknowledges that in a rapidly deteriorating security environment, time is a luxury that the Japan Ground Self-Defense Force does not possess. The immediate availability of a high-performance, snow-capable, and mine-resistant vehicle trumped the desire for a purely national product. Through the licensed production arrangement with Japan Steel Works, Japan secures the best of both worlds, a world-class platform delivered with the speed of an import, manufactured with the reliability of Japanese industry, and optimized for the defense of the Northern Territories. This decision sets a precedent for future procurement, suggesting that the Japan of the future will be less hesitant to look outward to secure the peace inward.